All right, thank you all for being here. That game took a while, so y'all probably been waiting in here a little bit. Great win. A lot of respect for BYU's program, and I think Kalani, one of the better human beings we have coaching, and he's obviously done a really good job there for a long time. So really a good win for us. I thought it was a complete game, defense, offense, special teams. Felt like, last 2 weeks have played, what we call good football, and today was probably our most complete game where we played good in all three phases. Played good on defense, played good on offense, special teams wise. And I want to say this too. I want to thank the crowd, because other than our students, and our maniacs, they get here early, but other than our students, like, the crowd got here early tonight. And there was energy, there was juice in the stadium, and I think our guys felt that even in pregame. I think there's something special about playing at night here, and there's a little different aura. Even coming in the man trip, we had a bigger crowd. The weather helps. It was a beautiful day, but man, there was a lot of energy in the man trip, and I thought it bled right into pregame, and our guys really fed off that. So I want to thank our crowd for doing that. If you look at it, I think the stats pretty much tell the story. Defensively, only gave up 277 yards, held them to 7 points, and that was with some backups. Thought we were really good on 3rd and 4th down. Anytime you hold a team to 67 yards rushing, that's a pretty good day. You're gonna have a pretty good chance to win that game. Offensively, we continued to play at a high level. I think that's several games in a row now that we're doing that. The things that sticks out: 336 yards rushing, 200-yard rushers. We held the ball for over 35 minutes. And then on special teams, our kickoff coverage, we got to get better at that. I thought we'd made some improvements. I'm not real sure. I got to watch the video and see where we failed on that. But only punted one time. I thought our field goal protection was really good. Mike made a really difficult kick. Talking about specialists, really proud. Danny King got an opportunity, went in there and really hit the ball well. But I thought we played well on special teams. And I think no big plays, but we didn't give up any negative plays either. So only negative was the penalties. We've been a team that hasn't had that all year, and man, there was a lot of penalties in that game. And here's the thing: most of them were legit. I don't know what the heck that delay was forever. That we had to go to replay and all that. But the rest of them, they were probably legit, and we got to clean that up. And so, without questions, Greg.
So start with defense. You guys have struggled their last few games, but today very good. Injury situation, your backup starting to get comfortable now. What was the reason why the defense improved?
Yeah, so hard for me to say until I watch the tape. But what I thought that we obviously did a good job in the run game, and I felt they probably felt like coming in they needed to be one-dimensional. It's tough. The quarterback who's got a quick release, man, he got rid of the ball fast, threw the ball from a bunch of different arm angles. But that's hard. He hasn't played all year, and he's going to make his first start on the road, 2 time zones away, national TV, all those things. That's a tough ask. And so a couple things. I thought we tackled well on after a couple initial quick screens. I thought we tackled well, got them behind the chains. That helped. And I thought, when you watch the tape, Cutter and Beiser, those guys probably played better. D-line wise, I think we're doing a better job of keeping it clean for those guys. And then, without question, that was the best our safeties had played in a long time. So I thought Anthony Wilson was really good in the game. Aubrey Burks is back looking like he did pre-TCU. So I think those are some of the reasons why we played better.
Kind of get Jaheim White more involved over the last couple of weeks, and you really see what he's capable of tonight. From start to finish, what's it been like bringing him along?
Yeah, I think this game's really hard to play as a true freshman, and that's why there's a reason why you don't see a whole lot. And usually the ones that are able to do it, like the guys that we've had, if you look at Zach Frazier, Wyatt Milam, people like that have played a lot of football as true freshmen, they're usually pretty special. And he's got a chance to be special. He's a long way where he's at. Right now and what he can be, there's a big gap. And so if he continues to do the things that it takes to be great, then he is going to be a great one. And he can break tackle. He's got good burst. He's really improved on his ball security. He's learned how to practice and prepare, which is probably the hardest thing to do when you go from high school to college. And he's earned these opportunities. He got 16 carries today. That's the most he's had in a game, I'm pretty sure. And this is the second time he's gone over 100. He had around 90 last week. And so he's going to be important for us, as is Rodney. We got Rodney some touches, and he's going to continue to be important for us too as we go down the stretch.
Were
Were you at all surprised that Slovis didn't go, and how did that change your prep at all?
I saw it was weird. So I'm not on social media, so I get all my stuff on ESPN and on ESPN and some Apple News stuff. And so I got on my phone after our practice on Thursday, and we have a call with our data analytics, and a lot of the data analytics are tied into the point spreads, and our game really jumped, and I thought that was weird. And so when it came out, that I guess that's the reason why. I don't know. I'm not in there. I don't even know if he was here. I have no idea. But it was too late in the week to change. We spent a lot of time watching junior college football on Thursday evening late. Some of our advanced people, and on Friday, and then we went back and looked at some film from last couple years because BYU's had some. They got 2 NFL guys starting on Sunday. So the last 2 starting quarterbacks they've had are starting in the NFL this weekend. And both those guys are mobile. So we went back and watched some film on that on Friday. But we didn't really alter our run game. We didn't really alter our plan defensively. It was too late in the week.
Neal, you really needed to get Jaheim and CJ going after the stretch they had. It seems like you and Chad have just, I guess, pushed all the right buttons for both of them.
Well, I don't know. Jaheim was more of he wasn't playing as much, and that was more of it was more of how he was practicing and preparing, and so I think when you have a veteran group up front, it's important that you earn those opportunities, and he just wasn't there, and we had a lot of faith in him because we knew he was talented, and so we just kept on, and a lot of credit to Chad, kept on Jaheim, and he was coming around, and he started practicing better, and he started preparing better and taking care of all the stuff off the field, and now he's seeing the fruit of those results, and my guess is that he probably won't backslide again because he sees, okay, that if I invest this is a result, and so I like how this feels, I like the results I'm getting, I'll continue to do the things that it takes to do that. And then CJ was just, it was part confidence, part him. What was happening when he went through that stretch where he really wasn't playing well, he was really pressing. People were playing him different, and he was just leaving a lot of yards out there. And really last week, and I'm pretty sure this is the case this week, is he went back and just did the basic things as far as setting up his runs, not being impatient, using his blockers, lowering his pads on contact. But it hasn't been anything that's necessarily been a revelation by any means. It's just, hey, we kind of went back to basics, and it's paying off for him.
What's it mean to be bowl eligible and do it this early? And did you sell that at all to the team?
No, we didn't talk about it. No, we really didn't. I didn't even say anything about it in the locker room. Really, to me, it's about, the best teams play their best in November. And that was the best game we've played this year. And so we got a 4-game stretch in November. That's the way we're attacking it. We're 1-0. And what I told them is, results are, bowl eligibility, all those type of things. We're alive and well in the conference race, and that's what we're talking about. And obviously a big game next week to continue to play our way in. But we're on a quest to play our best. And I felt like tonight was the best or most complete game we've played. We've played at a high level offensively in games. We've played at a high level defensively in games, and we've played at a high level in special teams. But until tonight, we really hadn't played all 3 together. And so, and I'm sure we're going to watch the film. I know the penalties irritate me. So I'm sure that we're going to watch the film and say, hey, there's a lot of improvement to still make. But that's kind of discussions we've had in-house.
5 or 6 false starts, and any way to explain that? Or
yeah, so part of it, they do a good job. They do a little shift there right before the snap, and they've gotten other people on it too. And whether that had an effect on it, I'm going to say it probably did. And that was a point of emphasis last year in our league, and we started calling it a little bit on the defense for simulating a snap. And without watching the TV copy, I don't know if they did or not, but I know they've done that in the past, and they've had a bunch of false starts on them offensively. And we worked on it, and obviously not enough because we had too many, and several of those were down in the red zone, so really costly.
It was really versatile from the defense tonight with the 67 rushing yards, and then you break up 8 passes on the back end. I guess just aside from players making plays, what in the scheme do you like right now?
Well, we've really simplified. We're not doing a ton. We've really, kind of playing just more two-gapping it up front to try to clean it up for the running backs. For the linebackers where they know their gaps. I think our D-line's playing double teams better. That's been a piece of it. Thought we rushed the passer better tonight. And they've got a left tackle to be a first-round draft pick, and the right tackle is one of the bigger human beings you're going to see. But I thought we rushed the passer better. And without watching on film, but the way I felt like on watching the game is I felt like we were more on our landmarks and zone coverage. And when you stay on your landmarks, the quarterback's got to be really accurate to get completions. You're going to give up some, but he's got to be really accurate. So I thought we were on our landmarks better tonight.
You could probably split the season in half for just the two versions of your offense, right? Last couple games and the sequence before that. How much of that is gradual, maybe inevitable, like you just thought you were going to get better? Maybe it was sidetracked by the quarterback health. And then how much is a dramatic difference where you guys have made some changes and created different ones?
Yeah, so I think if you look at it, we've probably played pretty good since the bye week, and it's as much health as anything. And so I really felt like, and I think I've said this before, is I really felt like that we were going to take off offensively. If you go through the kind of the order of our season, Penn State's one of the top defenses in the country. And we just had some missed opportunities. If you remember, we dropped a couple passes and had some missed opportunities. But that's as good a defense we're going to play all year. Duquesne kind of got going there. And then at Pitt, I really felt like we were going to take off. And we had a great week of practice offensively. I felt like that was going to be Garrett's kind of coming out party. And then he gets hurt there on play 4 or 5. And where Nico hadn't got a ton of reps because Garrett's in his first year starting. So Nico came in and kind of managed the game, and we just did what we needed to do because they were really struggling offensively. And then we get into the Texas Tech game where Nico is the starter, but we don't have much behind him. We have nobody that's ever played in a game behind him. And so you take out all your running back. You really take out a lot of your read game, because you don't want to put the quarterback in jeopardy getting hurt. And so we win that one. Then we go to TCU, and Nico sprains his ankle on Wednesday. Garrett doesn't really practice, and all of a sudden he's going to play on Thursday. And I really didn't know what we had, and he ended up playing better than I thought. But then, so we get that win going the bye, and then we've really played offense. I mean, we've really played at a high level since then. And we've been more, reading the run game. We've been more perimeter oriented as far as getting some receivers involved in that. And we're throwing the ball downfield better, which helps. We didn't hit it as many the last 2 weeks as I'd like to. But we're starting to hit our stride. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do better, but we're starting to hit our stride. And I said this last week too, is 6 gives us a chance. He's a really good player, and he gives us a chance week in and week out.
Does a win like this, I don't know if validate's the right word, reinforce the way you all felt coming into the season about the preseason ranking, preseason poll?
Well, I think that we're starting to hit our stride, and it is what it is. I mean, that's where we were picked, and week in, week out, we gotta prove that that's not who we are. And so, yeah, I think this team plays with a chip on their shoulder. They're resilient as any group I've been a part of. We've had some really low points, and they've been able to bounce back. And so I think the story on this season is far from written. I think it'll continue to progress as we roll.
That being said, what was the tone of the locker room afterwards? Was it kind of focused?
Yeah, I think the game has been out of reach, for probably a quarter and a half, and so maybe not as exuberant as you do sometimes when you go into a locker room, but that's I think that it was kind of a feeling of, because this is what we talked about. We felt like that we were really close to having a dominant performance, and that was a dominant performance, and so I think there was a feeling, okay, November, 4 games, 1 down. All right, next one up. Let's celebrate this because they're hard. But let's also be smart about how we're going to do it so we can get ready for the next one.
Second straight week, opening drive touchdown with a 4th down conversion on it. What does that mean, I guess, to the overall effectiveness of the offense as a confidence boost that early?
Well, y'all asked a bunch of questions about it, and we did. We kind of went back, and I think anytime you don't get the results you want, you make some changes, and what we're doing is we're just making decisions earlier on what the opening script's going to look like, and we practice it, and I think the kids get some belief in it. We get some answers on it. And also we're choosing some plays that it really doesn't matter what the defense does as much. All right. Trying to be different than anything they've seen. And so that's worked. I thought CJ had a man's run tonight on 4th and 1. And I thought that really set the tone. He had a second effort that really, because they kind of stuffed us. And he had a second effort that I thought that really set the tone for the rest of the game.
You talked about health being a major driving force to allow the offense to get going, but you did mention, I think it was before the UCF game, the intention of maybe trying to get more aggressive, and then it really showed there. What maybe triggered throughout this season your interest in I got to get play calling wise even more aggressive?
Well, we've been pretty aggressive all year, really. I think the thing at UCF that we did is we were going to be really aggressive there as far as going for 4th downs. I think that was what y'all were asking last week after the game, and we were going to be really aggressive. I think Greg asked about going for it on 4th down. We were going to be really aggressive in that game. But I think is what you're seeing is a maturation of, Jaheim White's playing, and he's playing well. He's a true freshman. Traylon Ray on the second drive of the game made 2 great plays. He's a true freshman. Rodney Galler getting him more involved in some run game stuff, and that's helping. And so I think, and then Garrett is growing week in and week out also because of making decisions. And I think that shows some growth there too. At the 2-minute drill at the end of half, he didn't put the ball in jeopardy. They were dropping 8, sometimes 7, and he did a really good job with less than a minute kind of making his way downfield without putting the ball in jeopardy. Anybody else? All right. Thank you all.